What's going on, family? I just want to start off this episode with a little bit of affirmations, motivational speak, because it ain't no shoulda, woulda, coulda. We did, is, and were around here. Create your reality by not only believing, but researching and acting on these impulses that urge us to step out of our comfort zones. This often can and will be a solo transition. Not to say you won't meet people that will help you along the way. However, it can and should be preparation for primarily running the marathon of change, spiritual growth alone. For most proficiency and longevity. It not only gives us the ability and the courage and the willpower to overcome setbacks once we have ascended, it also turns us into fearless leaders. Have you guys ever met a fearless leader? And I don't think a lot of us equate for how they get to being a fearless leader. No one is born without some level of fear. So although we may not express this fear in the same ways or in standard ways for some of us, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen and that these moments are to be brushed off. No. It's those very moments that we must lean in to get the lesson for the best next steps. This is Just Forget About It, episode 25, Dressed as Opportunity. Okay, so story time, guys. I'm going to try to condense this because this is like the second time that I recorded this. The first time, the story time was way too lengthy. The camera shut off. I had to have like a day to rejuvenate myself. It was like, fuck, man. Like, I got to go through this again. All right. So I know you guys remember like 2 episodes ago, I was talking about a voodoo priestess that I met out and how she was like coming dressed up as a potential friend. Okay. So the baseline or the background story for this is I went to a block party. It was supposed to be like a pre-Juneteenth, brown and black friendly block party. And it was cool. I actually met my friend and her husband there. And I remember seeing the voodoo priestess. I'm going to call her Shady Lady. Let's call her Shady Lady. I remember seeing the Shady Lady because our fits were similar. I had that Ford hat that I actually filmed that episode in. I think this is 25. So it was episode 23, Miracles in the Dark. And she had a trucker hat on, different in color, but same kind of feel. She had on the high socks. You all know the high socks. If you know me. High socks has been my thing for like 12 years. I might need to switch it up. But anyway, it's in style now. So anyway, and I remember telling my friend and my friend that I came with, because her and her husband accompanied me, wow, she looked cute or whatever the case may be. At the time, it hadn't clicked or I hadn't recognized her. So we'll get to that. So my friend eventually leaves, and I stay because I'm used to hanging out by myself, right? And I was so comfortable, y'all. I got my lawn chair out the car, came back, got some snacks from Whole Foods. I was in it, okay? I was out to chill. So I was open to meeting people. I posted up, was eating my food, met a few people in passing and all that stuff. So then I saw Shady Lady again, with a similar fit. And it clicked on me. And I said, oh, my family member. Because I'm not going to say exactly what family member because, privacy is a real thing here. But family member, they share a child. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I like, all right, let me go up to her, see what the vibes are or whatever. I just did it impulsively. So I'm like, hey, I think I know you. You have da-da-da-da, And she's like, oh yeah, that's my baby daddy. Like, she was very welcoming. It was cute, you know, not to diminish her in any way outside of what she already did or showed me herself. So that's what she said. Not trying to come for her. So we chop it up, we talking, and she invites me out, hang out. Keep in mind, there was a third person. Cute. It was a vibe. I'm going to put it in quotations because that's what it appeared to be. The third young lady had a cowgirl hat on. She had the Jada Pinkett vibes, but I didn't know she was really coming with the Jada Pinkett energy, y'all. Wait a minute. All right. So, shady lady, and I'm going to call the other one the additional. And as we mob out. So we go, you know, it's still parlaying on this parking lot pimping, whatever you want to call it, because the block party is over at this point. So then maybe a few moments later, they, you know, tell the crowd to go. So she's like, yeah, let's hang out. She extends the invite, shady lady. So I'm like, oh, cool, chill. Like, let me put my, you know, my chair in my car and we'll meet up. Y'all, that's when the shadiness started. Okay. It was very subtle. It was like trickling in like a leaking faucet though. So I didn't really notice it, right? So shady lady tells me her phone is dying to give my number to the additional. So me and additional exchange numbers. That's one. So I'm calling the additional. They keep telling me they're this place. When I meet with them, they're leaving. And I'm like, okay. But it's like, you know, a busy area. It's hard to find parking. So I'm like, giving it the benefit of the doubt. So around the second or third time that this happened, I'm like, okay, I think I might go home. And like the devil, coincidentally, they pull up on the same block that I'm pulling off of. Like, hey girl, da 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 da, or whatever the case may be. So we park on the same block, right? So even when we was parking on the same block, the shady lady and the shady lady kept like pulling the additional, like as if to walk, like, and not to wait for me, but in like subtle ways, like they were trying to like behave as if they were like belligerent, you know, because it was a festive event. It was drinking and stuff going on. I hadn't been drinking. So I called them out, you know, very cute, because, you know, you invited me out. So maybe you didn't realize that. So I'm like, hey, like, why y'all, you know, just wait. Oh, I'm fucked up. Okay. All right. We get to the pub. Shady lady and additional. We're ordering food. The pub is actually close to the next spot because we're going to, like, you know, a lounge after party for the block party. I should have known I was, like, in dangerous territory. But anyway, I'm in it to win it, y'all. I'm in it. I'm out here. I'm hanging. I'm outside. Right? So I start talking to the shady lady because I noticed that a lot of people were coming up to her, and it seemed as if she may have had some type of, like, you know, influence. Like, people were coming up to her like, oh my God, I love your stuff. And I was inspired. Back to episode 1. And I wasn't ashamed to show that I was inspired, because at this point we were building a potential friendship in my mind. So I show her Just Forget About It, my IG page. Automatic, like, discrimination shade. Like, all I see is pink and green. Like, are you just talking about AKA? And I'm like, no, you know. I gave her a little pilot or whatever, because you guys know I have some background in marketing and PR, right? So I pitched, and she's like, oh, well, I don't want to talk about work right now. Like, we're chilling, whatever the case may be. And keep in mind, we chopped it up outside or on our way to the pub. At some point, she had requested to stay the night to crash with me. Oh, that's a tidbit. She has a baby with a family member of mine, but this shady lady has recently moved to Costa Rica, where she allows the shared child that she has with my family member to live with his now wife and their new baby. Okay. I don't know. You know, I don't know what the background is, but no shade. But the rest of the story will attest to that kind of connection. So keep that in mind, guys. So she throws the shade. I don't want to talk about it. And then continues to talk about her shit. Like, yeah, it's lit for me to be doing what I do for a living and getting paid for it. And at this point, I'm still encouraging her because I'm still inspired, y'all. I didn't see the shade yet, or, you know, I felt she may have wanted to, like, I don't know. Sometimes I will dim my light to see how far people will go, or if people will meet me in knowing that I know what my purpose and my goal is, if you understand what I mean. Those that feel me, feel me. But anyway, it wasn't phony. It was still genuine. I, encouraged her. I was like, that's so lit. You doing what you do for a living? Yeah. Like all of that energy. All right, cool. We go to the next spot. It is a party. We're at the party. Shady lady is making it a point to like pair up with the additional all night and like kind of like shut me out. It's weird. Like they were dancing together and like she would make sure her back was turned towards me when they were dancing. And after a while, I kind of went off on my own, like, and not too far from them because I wanted to give the night a chance. I felt like they were ambitious women, seemingly, and maybe they needed to see that, I was cool, calm, and collected. No, didn't change much. So we leave from there, and I'm just noticing her mannerisms. If anybody comes up, if a guy comes up, it's like she's doing these like belligerent things, like just twerking in the middle of the street, like doing things to kind of like revert the attention. Like, I guess to her it's like real hot girl shit. To me it's real thirsty girl shit. Cause like if we all chatting it up, stand in your power. There's no need for that, queen. Unless that was the vibe. Like a song came on and we all like, oh, like no, it would just be nothing going on. Somebody would come up, and if they weren't talking to her first, she would do something like outlandish to revert the attention. So I picked up on that. I kept it cute. So two guys talked to the shady lady and additional. And these two guys happened to take us to a next spot, which was like 2 or 3 blocks away. Now, mind you, all of us are in our 30s. We've exchanged, signs and dates of birth and all of that. So this is a little like dated for me, like hopping in the car with a rando. But like I said, we outside, so I was like, hey. So even within the mannerisms of this shady lady continue with the passive aggression. But by this time, she's like doing little stuff to try to make it seem like she's in tune. Like, are you okay? You want anything? They had been drinking. I'm not drinking right now in this point in my life. So I asked her to get me a sparkling water on 2 separate occasions. At this point, I had seen them with 2 drinks, right? So another guy walks up, because I'm a vibe, y'all. Like, and I'm not trying to be conceited or nothing. Like, I am, and I'm aware of this. And there's other people that are a vibe, and it's okay for people that have a vibe to chill together and it not take away from the other person's vibe. But I don't think she understood that. So anyway, another guy came up. We're dancing, doing the, all of that, having a time, like. And guy makes sure I'm good, gets me the water. And at some point, I believe I was standing like at like a within a doorway, and the security guard was like, he was tripping. So I walked away on him. Like, to avoid controversy, I walked away and I went to the bathroom. Now, mind you, shady lady and additional have been walking away from me without commentary the whole night. And I just been kind of like, for lack of better words, like following behind them, like not like a puppy dog, cause never that bitch, never. But like, yeah, trying to keep a close proximity in the name of friendship. So anyway, I go to the bathroom. I get out the stall. Shady lady is standing there like, oh, I wanted to make sure you was okay. I didn't know. Like, I thought you left. I'm like, no, like, we going to the Puerto Rican Day Parade tomorrow. You said you still want to, do you still want to, place to crash? She's like, yeah. Like, at this point, I told her the town that I lived in, and she, like, mistakenly said it as another town, which is kind of like, it's a neighboring town, but not the same in tax bracket, if you get what I mean. And I believe that was done strategically. So I didn't correct her. I let her be, right? So we get back outside of the bathroom into the club area. She's dancing with the guy and acting all crazy. Twerking, doing her. Okay, you do you, boo. It don't affect me. What you eat don't make me shit, okay? So maybe 15 minutes later, she's like, you can leave me. Like, you don't have to stay. So I'm like, oh, you trying to dip? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, she's like, no, like, I just think I'm going to just stay out all night. I'm like, well, why would you do that? Now, here I am thinking we connecting as friends. And being that she has a shared child with a family member of mine, this is my nurturing part coming out, because I'm thinking we connected. So I'm like, no, like, you could come, stay. And I don't know if she took it as me, like, I don't know. I ain't even gonna put that out there, because, girl, you know what it is. You know I ain't want, girl. Anyway, she's like, no. So I'm like, well, you know, I'm not walking back to the car at this time of night by myself. At this point, it's like 2:15 a.m. So the guy, I talked to the security guard, you know, by this time I befriended him, the security guard that fake went off on me. And I'm like, what time does the doors or the lights come on? He like, you know, we close at 3 o'clock, but the doors or the lights come on like 2:30, 2:45. So I'm like, okay. So I went back and told her, like, listen, they about to turn the lights on. So if you want to go, you know, I just want to make sure that I get back to my car and I'm not walking back. So she like, okay. She didn't really say anything, to be honest. She kind of walked away. I really couldn't tell she had an attitude or nothing. So, all right, we leave. We get to the car. We get back in the car with the randos. So here's round 2 of me 30 plus doing shit like we in our 20s, but cool. Like, this is what you want to do. We outside, no judgment. So they say their goodbyes. Still boo loving outside with no music. Her and the additional. Okay. No hate. I'm chilling. I'm off at a comfortable distance. She gets in my car, right? Now we're off. We're about to go to my house because she wants to stay the night. She told me she wanted to crash so we can go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade. As far as I'm concerned, we're building a friendship, right? Get to the gas station. I start talking about Just Forget About It again. She completely deters the conversation, goes to something different, and just starts talking about herself again. So at this point, I call her out, and I'm like, wow, like, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really want to hear what I gotta say. She's like, oh no, it's not that. Like, it's just so good seeing people that I haven't seen in a while. So mind you, she's moved from Costa Rica, right? So I'm offended at this point. You done did what you needed to do the whole night. I didn't judge you. You know what I mean? I was playing the position of a new potential friend. I'm confiding in you about my passions, and you just dropped it. Like, so I said, I turned on Beyonce. I'm that girl. These motherfuckers ain't stopping me. These motherfuckers ain't stopping me. And it's up. So we getting gas. So she's looking at me. I can feel her like burning a bullet out my peripheral. Like, because, you know, I'm driving, so she's on my right side. So then she says, can you turn that down? I ignore her. So then she takes her hand, y'all, and she goes, can you turn that down? So I took her hand and I go, just like that. You know somebody crazy when they start giggling, right? Like, you done fucked up now. So she like gathers her things like, okay, all right, we don't have to do this. Gets out the car, and you know, we're at a gas station, so she stands in the middle of the island. I finished letting my gas pump, right? So then I see she's at the other end of the pump, so I turn around, and I'm like, what's the problem? Out the window, right? She goes, well, I guess you had an attitude because I didn't want to hear about your little podcast, so you was turning up the music, you tried to look at me like I was crazy. Pardon moi? I said, you doing what you needed to do all night long, and I didn't bother you. Like, I was chilling. She like, yeah, because I'm an individual. At this point, I said, oh, you got me fucked up. You thought I was a fan. So at that point in time, I said, you know what? Bitch, you a hater. Skirt! She tried to bang on the back of my, and I can hear her in the background or calling her friend, Mo, come get me. Skirt. Like, right. So let's bring this back to the episode. Break it down. Break it down into sections. Okay. I want to express to all of you guys that even despite people coming at you, nicking at your purpose, at your goals when you're in the building phase, and they may have built something, more substantial at this point. I'm not going to doubt that she doesn't have a following and that she isn't contributing something in some type of way. What? I don't know. Not encouragement to others that's on the rise, though, and that's whack. But however, I just want to express that it's normal and almost inevitable to be lured off track when you are truly on to something, namely your purpose. First off, I want to say that people that are doing equal or more in life than you will almost never find a reason to criticize someone attempting to be the phoenix rising out of the ashes in their life. You out here hustling, you out here doing what you need to do, you out here feeding your passions. Enough is enough. And it's time to choose ourselves. So to encourage those on the climb to success, that's me, that's you, that's who has been watching, who's been rocking out these 25 weeks that we've been broadcasting Just Forget About It. I believe as long as you are honoring this, you will be placed in the correct rooms among those that will lift you up. Shut out the ones that highlight and only focus on your dark parts. They're not important. They're only a distraction, dressed as an opportunity. Know the difference and take care of yourselves, y'all. She tried to get me because friendship is one of the things that I crave. Being a loner at heart and coming from a family with 5 older brothers and me being the only girl, I always want, partnership, camaraderie with women, but not at the expense of my self-dignity. Got me fucked up. So until next time, guys, recognize distractions dressed as opportunities and dress the opportunities that you want in your life and propel forward always. JFAT out.